Harvard, and I am a reviewer. Well, I say I'm a reviewer. I'm a guy who likes to review films and TV shows. But this is a very different video, so this is not a film or a TV show review. This is my predictions for who I believe will probably be playing the villains in the upcoming Batman sequels. If you haven't seen my review of the Matt Reeves' The Batman, go check that out as well. And I do have, at the end of the video, you can also see that I have a picture of who I believe will play the Joker, or is obviously I believe true to be Barry Keoghan, who will probably play the Joker, even though he was more just an uncredited cameo role, playing a cellmate with the Riddler. But that would be really cool to see that. So who do I think will be playing these villains? Well, let's get that. Okay. So here's the people I decided to choose to play Mr. Freeze. So the person I chose to play Mr. Freeze is Giancarlo Esposito, who you might know from Star Wars as Moff Gideon, Breaking Bad, and The Boys. So I think he'd be a good choice. The reason I think he'd be good is because there's been like a few other people who have played Mr. Freeze, like there's been one in the animated series, and of course there's been one in the 1997 film Batman film Batman and Robin, which was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I have heard is not a good film. But there we go. So my next one, Poison Ivy. My choice was Jodie Comer, who you might know from Killing Eve as the character Villians, who I believe was Russian. I think she's a Russian. She plays a Russian character in that show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. So yeah, I think she'd be quite a good person to play this character who is sort of like has this long flowing red hair and she has poison ivy, and I think she'd be quite good. So that's who I believe should definitely get the role for that. And let's see who else we got. Just give me a second. And okay. So the next person who I chose to play Two-Face was Jake Gyllenhaal. Now it's not a very easy guess, it's not a very easy choice to cast someone who I think should play Two-Face, because we had in the original one we had someone who played voiced Two-Face, and of course there was two other film adaptations, The Dark Knight, which was Aaron Eckhart, who played him, also known as Harvey Dent, and also Tommy Lee Jones, who played Two-Face in Batman Forever, which was the one with Val Kilmer. The next one I went for Clayface was Nicolas Cage, because I think he'd be quite good to play the character. I mean, I know, right? Because he's played a lot of really good roles in different films. Like he's played a lot of like serious roles in action films, like Drive Angry, National Treasure, Willy's Wonderland, and all types of other films. So I think he'd be quite good to actually play a character, because if you haven't seen Suicide Squad, you did not know that Sylvester Stallone played King Shark, or did the voice of King Shark. And I was like, that is just so cool. But I think he should definitely get the role to play Clayface. So that would be really cool. And I would love to see that happen. My next one is for Bane. So the person I chose to play Bane was Dave Bautista, who of course you might know from other things like playing Mr. Hinks in the James Bond film Spectre, and also for playing Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course also he's a wrestler as well, but I think he'd be quite good to play Bane, but they have told, the rumours are true, that he could play Bane in an upcoming Batman film, so we will see if that happens, hopefully. The next choice I chose to play Hugo Strange is Graham Tavish, who you might not know, who is very familiar. If you haven't seen the Netflix animated show Castlevania, he played a character called Vlad Dracula, and he would be quite good to play this character who has a sort of like a very witty humour about him, because he's kind of like, he's like a kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but he's more of a just a guy who would do anything, because he can't look exactly like the actual actor, but I think he'd be quite good. So that would be an interesting choice to see. Just have to see if he gets the role, hopefully. So we will see. And the next one is Ra's al Ghul. So the person who I probably will say probably will play Ra's al Ghul is an actor who we probably don't know very well. Is an actor called Ghazan Masood. Now I originally thought Javier Bardem should play him, but then it was actually, I looked online and it actually said that another actor could play Ra's al Ghul, so he'd be quite good, you never know. He'd be quite a good choice to play Ra's al Ghul. The next one is Phantasm. Now there were so many different choices, I couldn't decide who to go for, but the one that stuck out in my head was Billy Zane, because of course he played the Phantom in The Phantom, which is the comic book adaptation of the 1930s comic strip. So I think he'd be quite good because he had actually played a character called Phantom before. Yeah. Okay. For Scarecrow, I chose Adam Driver. It was so difficult to pick who to play Scarecrow, because going through the rumours online of who will actually be casted as character, it was announced that Adam Driver could and potentially play the Scarecrow. Because as you didn't know, Cillian Murphy also played the role of Scarecrow in the Batman Begins. I nearly said Dark Knight, I apologise for that. I meant to say Batman Begins, because also, if you didn't see, there was an interrogation scene where he was with Falcone, played by Tom Wilkinson, who also was in the new Batman film. For Hush, I chose an actor who I'm very familiar with, who of course who plays Huey in The Boys, and of course also played a character called Richie in the new Scream film. So I went for Hush, I chose Jack Quaid. So I mean, I think he'd bring a lot to the role of the character. I think he'd be quite good, because I don't think he's actually played a baddie in a film before, but I know that he's played a lot of like more good roles. He's played like good parts in things like TV shows and films like that. For Talia al Ghul, there was different choices for Talia al Ghul, but the one I chose was Priyanka Chopra Jones. She is like the other half of Ra's al Ghul, who I actually just said. It was difficult to think who would be perfect, and I thought this person would be perfect. I think she would nail the part of Talia al Ghul, because it'd be really interesting to see. And then last of all, for Man-Bat, I chose an actor who would be fantastic, because he's played a lot of really interesting characters in recent films, like Pan's Labyrinth and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and also other films. So he played a lot of voice roles, but also I thought he'd be a good choice to play Man-Bat, because obviously he has played numerous characters in different films and TV shows and stuff like that. So yeah, that would be a good choice. So that is my predictions of who I believe should play the villains in the upcoming Batman sequels, which is the Matt Reeves trilogy. Hopefully this will happen. Now I can't promise you if these will actually be true or not, but you will have to find out when the next Batman film is released in years to come. We don't know yet, but hopefully that will happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give the video a like, and of course subscribe. And also remember to click that notification bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. How was that?